Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all my dignitaries, Rahul sir, Reena ma'am, all the people, all my students, everyone, on this live Facebook show with our guest faculty. We are back again with another IIG guest faculty lecture with our students to enhance their in-depth knowledge in jewelry designing. So, jewelry designing, as you know, is a very conceptual subject, not only based from the ideas, inspirations, right from there to architecture, everything can be transformed into our jewelry designing. So, here today we have a multifaceted talented artist, painter from Ontario, Canada, Ms. Reena Ahluwalia, to guide us, help us on the subject jewelry designing. She will be sharing her experiences with us, which will help our students to grow in this field. So, few of her key features, as I would like to mention, that she is a professor and member of George Brown College Jewelry Program Advisor Committee. Her work is also featured in Belgium postage stamp. Moreover, she in 2019 co-created a watch with Aaron Chum that was awarded Guinness Book of World Record for most maximum number of diamonds set on a watch. So there is much more to talk about Miss Ma'am Reena Ahluwalia. It's too less time to explain whatever she had done. So I would like to call upon Ms. Rahul Desai to give a welcome note to Reena Ma'am. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, Ms. Reena Ahluwalia. It's pleasure to host you here at IIG live series webinar, we say. And also, it's a tradition we call renowned designers and gemologists from the world, and to impart such kind of a knowledge, first-hand knowledge, to our students. Uh, Today is really a very lucky day because, like, we are going to host Ms. Reena Ahluwalia, and for the first time with IIG, and why it is more luckier than because she's going to narrate her own journey of success. So I'm sure this is going to definitely a fascinating story and learning lessons for all our students. As already Gunjan has mentioned so many things about Reena, I don't want to take much of your time, but I can say she is a great expert, renowned jewelry designer of world, and all of this above. She is a really a nice human being and very down to earth personality. So welcome, Reena Ahluwalia, and I just tell Gunjan to just start with the actual webinar with Reena. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. So, today all our students are here. Myself, Gunjan Sapra, I am the jewelry designing faculty and HOD of IIG. On behalf of IIG, I would like to welcome Reena ma'am to this floor where she can depict her experience and her journey in jewelry designing. Now, this our students have a lot of questions about the journey this jewelry designing field have. So I would like you to invite you to share your experiences, how the whole journey of yours had been. It needs to take a lot of time. Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you, Raj, and thank you, IGI, and all of you who are participating, the students and all the participants. A very good morning from Toronto, Canada. It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. So I will be sharing my creative journey with you through the lens of design and art. And let me share my screen so that I can start with my presentation. So Gunjan, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible. I do not need, I wouldn't need.
Fantastic. So first of all, I'm so excited to be with all of you. Now, as I said, I'll be sharing my creative journey with you through the lens of design and art, and let's make this day all about diamonds and design, and creativity and passion. As an artist, I have always found that what motivates me really is to create meaningful and memorable artwork that connects. So, but first, it's, I guess, really important uh, before I start telling about my jewelry, maybe, let's look at the origin story. Where did I come from and my background? I hope that's kind of gives you a picture of my influences, my design influences, and the person I'm today. So I was born in central India, in the heart of India, a city called Bhopal, also city of lakes. It's a very beautiful city. I came from a very supportive middle class family. My parents were really amazing, and my mother is a poet, he's a writer, and an artist, and my father now retired, but he worked with state government. And I have two siblings, so that's my little beautiful family. And growing up, just like any other artist, I was busy doing all sorts of things. I was creating, I was sketching, I was sculpting, whatever I could find around me. It was always very exciting. And I'm also talking about a time, so I had wooden toys. I know you guys are pretty lucky, or I should call, I was very lucky that I did not have that many toys. So I had to really imagine a world and create it for myself. And I think it's really interesting. I think there was a realization for me that with imagination, you can transform ideas. It's almost like you take 2 or 3 branches or sticks, put it together, and voila, you have something new. So, and so growing up, and even till today, whenever I look at things around me, I'm always trying to understand, the structure, the concept, the context, and the meaning, and very more importantly, what's my interpretation, how am I viewing it. So just a little story from my childhood. I was, I guess, around 7 or 8 years old, and I got a school assignment. So the teacher told me to write about a historical figure. So the Jhansi of Rani, like a queen. So I came back home, and my mother saw that I was wasting time. I was not writing my essay. So she came very gently to me and suggested, why don't you draw instead? And I looked at her, and I remember I said, could I? And she said, why not? And I did. So I was really apprehensive. Next day, go to the school, with a lot of apprehension. What is my teacher going to say? But, to my surprise, she was okay with it. So I think that was one of the first days, I realized the power of storytelling. And it was a very big lesson for me, because I learned that there are more than one way of doing things, more than one way of communicating. So that is a little bit of a story from my childhood. Then when it came time for me to decide what to do next with my life when I had grown up, I applied to India's top design and art school, the National Institute of Fashion Technology. Now, and yes, of course, I got selected, but India. India is a beautiful, strong country of more than 1 billion. So to even get selected, there were more than 10,000 and 10,000 plus entrants, series of exams and tests, and all sorts of things. And the program selected 10 students. That was the first batch of accessory design from National Institute of Fashion Technology. So it's now only now that I look back and I think how fortunate I was to have this kind of an education. However, at that time, I was really young, and I thought, oh, I'm so good, Of course, I'll get through. But now when I look back with a little bit of humbleness, I realize, how fortunate I was to have that great place to learn. So that also meant that my middle-class family had this new situation. So I'm going to a national school. My siblings also get selected to really big national schools. And now there is a bit of a financial load for my parents. So I was really aware of that, and I recognized that very much. I was always, very careful as to how I spent, and I focused on learning as much as I could. But you see a box of pencil crayons there. I've put it there, because when I was studying in NEFT, there came a situation where you need good tools. And one of the tools was to get really good color pencil crayons. And so these were really expensive. And I remember saving 3 months to kind of afford this box of crayons. So I never take anything for granted. I, always value things. And, these are tools of your trade, whether it's your pencils or, the other equipments you have, or even people around you, your teachers, your mentors, your friends. So never to take that for granted. So that was one of the lessons from that time, and that I keep very close to me. So I graduated from National Institute of Fashion Technology in 1994. Many of you were not born, but that's when I graduated. And as soon as I graduated, I landed my first job with India's largest diamond company. And I think very little known fact is that that was the very first professionally trained jewelry designers entering the diamond world. So my professors at that point said, well, this is a really huge deal that you're going for this big interview. So I boarded a train from New Delhi to Bombay, Mumbai now, and so gave my interview. And I was asked that, okay, this is the amount you should ask. And the whole train journey, I was thinking, no, I think I would be doing an amazing job. I'm going to be adding so much value. I'm getting my vision along with me. So I decided that as I sat for interview and came time to decide what you're going to be paid, I said, well, X into 2, and that is what I got. And that set the standard for, how jewelry designers would be paid later. So that was great. That also meant that, going to the diamond industry and being a woman. So I'm talking about, early 2000s. And I think for women, it's still a huge challenge. It's not only India, but around the world. So, but at that time, going to the diamond industry as a designer, as a jewelry, artist, it was strange because it was a hugely male-dominated diamond industry. So very few opportunities to be seen or heard. But I persisted. I knew that I'm bringing my vision. I knew I had something to say. I knew I'm going to work really hard to create a new kind of communication. So I persisted, and I'm very happy I did. That has helped me in my life, and also supporting women around you. That's very important to me. So this is also the time I started getting a whole lot of international diamond jewelry awards. So from De Beers to World Gold Council. So I was participating in all these kind of design competitions, more to just kind of experiment and see how do I fare, with this world of, jewelry designers. How is my design going to cut it? So that was a great experiment for me. And of course, people started recognizing me very soon enough. Oh, well, Reena, well, she's got this award, that award. And because at that point I was really young and I was not very happy, I said, well, I was always talented. But anyway, I think that was really good as an opportunity to be seen. And so later on in 2007 is when I established my own brand, Reena Ahluwalia Design. And so this is also the time that I was not only establishing my jewelry brand, but I was also painting and sculpting and always teaching, because I believe that if somebody taught you, I think the least you can do is to kind of contribute. So I've always taught, whether in India at that point, in the National Institute of Fashion Technology, but later around the world. I'm a professor of jewelry here in Canada, as Kunjan has said. And when I travel, whether whichever city or country I am, I'm trying to go connect to different schools, go and talk to students. I love it. Go to GIA, GEMA, and all sorts of places, just as a contribution. So the painting and the sculpting was also it had started at the same time. A lot of people are very confused that did I start painting now? No, it's been 20 years in making. So that after that, I'm going to fast forward a bit and share with you that I moved to Canada. So 2001 onwards, I moved to Canada. And when I came to Canada, I thought this is an amazing country. It's a country of openness and pristine white winters, a country, full of different ideas. I walked down the street and I would notice that every second person was from a different country. So it was very exciting to have that kind of, landscape with so many thoughts and ideas. One of the first things that I did when I came to Canada, I visited the Ontario legislature. This is the building that you see here. Sorry. And why I'm talking about that is because little did I know that this will be a very important part in my design journey and in diamond history, and I'll come to that a little bit later. But what you see here is one of my designs. It's called Glacier. It's a Canadian diamond ring with gold. And I think that pretty much captures how I saw Canada and how I still see Canada as a land of openness, fluidity of ideas. It's a monumental place, so I love that. So from this point onwards to now, there are many things that has happened. We don't have that much time, but so I'll try to capture at least some of the beginnings. And I want to share a little bit about my early memories. Now I can very easily say, having traveled around the world and lived in various countries, met people from different cultures, worked with them, my influences are global. But when I started off, my primary influences came from, the country where I was born, India, full of color, texture, and, people. And this is one of my early memories. I always feel that India has so much of symbolism all around us, and it was fascinating. So one of my very early jewelry memories is to see women road workers breaking stones for a road construction. And what was really interesting, I was really young, but what was really interesting was these women were decked with, they were wearing these vibrant, beautiful clothes with different colors. But they were also wearing jewelry from head to toe and still doing that road kind of construction. So there was heat, there was dust, there were fumes, but that did not, they were undeterred by all of that. And what I found very fascinating, I remember that very clearly, of thinking that how jewelry is such a part of their body. It's almost like the second skin, a very important part of their identity. So you could, in fact, look at them and know where they came from. So I thought that was really fascinating. So, so many such influences, kind of accumulated as I grew up, what I saw around. So what my eyes saw, my soul internalized, and I think that kind of reflects in my designs too. Of course, this is everyday India. And while I was growing up, I would see, in different states, in different provinces of India, these amazing, amazing people, wearing jewelry from head to toe. I saw texture, I saw color, but I really felt it was all really embedded with a lot of meaning. And so when you look at India, a lot of times I think that, as I had mentioned before, the jewelry is like a second skin. It is such, it's a part of your body. So in India, I feel that jewelry, it not only adorns your physical body or celebrates your physical body, but it also celebrates your human spirit and soul. And as I said, that I'm always very interested in meaning and messages and symbolism. And I feel in India, symbolism is the cornerstone of Indian art and culture and identity. So I saw that all around me. I saw repetition, I saw rotation, some of these kind of design elements that were there. So whether it was in architecture or a Buddhist prayer wheel, in motifs, in jewelry, I was seeing the concept of repetition. And why I mention that is because, as a design element, when you use repetition, you're propagating an idea or a message. So something that you can see in my work as well. I mean, perhaps subconsciously or consciously, but it's there. And even look at the whole idea of, a chakra or like how Lord Vishnu is holding a chakra or Sudarshan chakra. And that has a very clear center. And I found that in India as well, that things had a very clear center. So whether you see it in jewelry as well, the jewelry has symmetry, it has radiating center, and a very clear idea of what the center is. So I would often, kind of ask, where does this concept come from? And so for me, it's almost like the idea of Atma or inner soul. That's the true center of our essence and inner being. So why I'm telling you all of this is you'll see some of that in my designs too. So now let's jump in and straight go and look at some of the jewelry creations. As I said, the meaning, symbolism, all of that is very important to my work. And this collection that you're seeing is called Inner Brilliance Collection. It's a spinning diamonds collection. So the innovation is that the pieces spin, the diamonds spin on a central axis. And this is a collection from my brand Coronet by Reena, that's in design partnership with Aaron Shum of Hong Kong. And here you can see how, what is the main message behind my Inner Brilliance collection. It is to really stay true to your center, embrace your inner brilliance, and also value things that matter to you the most, like family, health, love, dreams, friendship, or passion. So this is the concept behind my collection. And here you can see some of the pendants and rings from the Inner Brilliance collection. What you'll notice is in the design, there are these spinning diamonds and gemstones. But also at 2 o'clock, if you notice, there is a triangular gold element, and that's a pointer that points to the true center. So as the things move or the elements move in the jewelry, there is a pointer that always points to the center, and the center is stable, it does not move. And so the whole idea, the whole idea of cyclic things, what goes around comes around. Your positive vibration, you're good to people, people are good to you, some of those things. So I try to put those kind of thoughts in my design. Now, what you'll also see is one of the necklaces from my collection. It is a riot of colors. These are rainbow colors. And the necklace itself is very interesting because this necklace transforms into 2 necklaces, a hand ornament and a bracelet. Now, all of that I find interesting. You can just wear it as this one composition or many other compositions. But I think it'll be really fun for you to see, the whole idea of motion and movement, the kinetic work. You can see it here. Let's play the video. So that was the movement that I was talking about. And if you look back, some of my early inspirations and influences, and you can perhaps see where it came from as well. My next collection, which is my latest collection, is the Ellison Collection. And this is inspired by my logo. My logo is a catafoil shape with a starburst at the center. And this collection is also inspired by a beautiful fragrant flower called Ellison. It's a really beautiful flower. So you see 4 petals, they represent passion, dreams, love, and balance. So this is a very extensive collection. It has many pieces, but this is I would say, an everyday wear, a very modern take. Now that brings us to something really exciting. Now, this is Mudon watch. Mudon means peonies, flower peonies in Chinese, and it symbolizes nobility, grace, and harmony. So this is a co-creation. This watch is a co-creation between Aaron Shum and I. Well, Aaron Shum has got 10 Guinness World Records, or maybe 11. I've got 1. So this watch has earned a Guinness World Record for most diamonds set on a watch ever. So there are more than 15,000 diamonds. And what's really exciting is the center, the dial, and it is my hand-painted diamond on the dial that makes it really, really unique. So after the success of the Guinness World Record watch, I spent next 3 years developing my diamond watch collection. And what you see here is the same concept. It has dials that are hand painted. These are hand painted diamonds. And the whole idea is to just embrace your inner brilliance, to be a star of your own life, to see your limitless potential, your star quality. So that's why I designed this watch collection. It's a gender neutral collection and it's Swiss made. What you also see here is my technical blueprint. So it's all hand drawn. And what's interesting for me also to share is a bit of my process. So when I start designing, so it's not that I just go on to a sketch. There might be some ideas that are in my mind, and over a period of time, just like coffee. So you have a filter, and so you keep putting coffee. And so there are many ideas, and it filters down. At some point, it comes and becomes a tangible idea for me to explore. So that's when I start drawing, sketching, and I'm a very big believer of that. I love it. And it's only after my hand-drawn blueprints that it can go to CAD, model making, tweaking it, and into production. And why I want to share that with you is that I also find that when you are sketching and when we are sketching, it's a slower process than let's say going straight to the computers. Excuse me, please. It's because it gives you enough time. It's a great connection between your hand and your mind. So it gives me great enough time to think about my design, to have a conversation with my design, and to tweak it, to fine tune it, think of mechanisms, and really think of, is it communicating the message that I want to give? So I find hand drawing fascinating in that regard. So next up is a floating diamonds collection. This is in design collaboration with Royal Asscher Diamonds. Now, Royal Asscher Diamonds, have an incredible history. So Royal Asscher Diamond Company got the largest diamond ever found, the Cullinan. And also they're the inventors of the Asscher cut and the Royal Asscher cut. So this collection is a collaboration with Royal Asscher Diamonds with floating diamonds. And what it has is a sapphire crystal dome. There's silicone inside, but then there are these diamonds that float and cascade down and emit light, and they're really mesmerizing. So let's look at a video of how the piece looks. So not only that the diamonds are, floating inside that dome, but there's a kinetic movement in the pieces as well. So if that's a very big part of my signature style. Pieces move. I like it. I love it. Life is all about moving. It's movement. So I pretty much capture that in my jewelry as well. And if you ever were to enter my mindscape, I would say, look at this. Again, my blueprint of a necklace for the Floating Diamonds collection. And this necklace has, two-way motion. One is, of course, the floating diamonds, but also the necklace spins. And here you can see how I was trying to think what I'm going to do with the mechanism. So I had ball bearings put in there. And so this just lets me fine tune my ideas and really understand what I'm saying. And then I will go and, we'll make pieces and fine tune it while, making the models before it goes into production. Now that brings me to a fabulous, amazing royal tiara that I had the privilege to design with Royal Asscher Diamond Company. And this amazing royal tiara was a tribute to the royal wedding of Prince William and Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton. Of course, Kate Middleton decided and chose an heirloom tiara called the Cartier Halo Tiara, but we were so honored to be selected. So this is a great honor to create this piece. And what you see here are these massive, amazing Royal Asscher cut diamonds that looked amazing in the tiara. So next up is a necklace all about music and musicality, I would say. This is called Belkan diamond necklace, and it had won the HRD International Diamonds Award. And I was inspired by the opera, the highs and lows sung by a soprano. So I just wanted to kind of imbue this design with that kind of emotion, the highs and the lows that somebody sings, and just the emotional feeling of being immersed in music. And I guess you can see that in the way the diamond is. It was really flexible. And next to that, you see my paper models, you see some of my exploratory sketches, you see a color rendering piece that is being fabricated. Also notice how the necklace looks from front and back both. It had a great play and it was a spectacular necklace. Now, this amazing necklace landed me on a world postage stamp. So I'm really honored that the Belkan necklace is on the official Belgian postage stamp. So in 2010, a special edition diamond stamp was issued, and my necklace was featured on that to celebrate Antwerp, the role of Antwerp in the world of diamonds, and what Belgium has done for the diamond industry. So great honor as well, because I feel, there are, I think, less than 6 or 7 living artists who are on an official world stamp. So great honor for me. So moving from there, this is another historic piece that I had the privilege to create. And this is a historic diamond set Mace of Ontario. As I said, Ontario is my province. And when the first diamonds were discovered in Ontario by De Beers Victor Mine, the Ontario legislature and De Beers Canada invited me to make the setting for the historic Mace of Ontario. So it's a ceremonial regalia that is very important to our parliamentary system. And it was 100 years back that this mace was touched or refurbished. So it was a great historic piece that I was to work on. And again, you see some wax model and the design and the mount as well. And this is the final Mace of Ontario. It's a historic piece in the legislature. For example, till the Mace is in the House, it's in the legislature, things cannot commence. So it's a very important, powerful symbol. And the design is interesting for many reasons, but one reason is if you look at it, the base of the design has a catafoil shape, I mean, just like my logo, but it signifies balance, symmetry and balance. And it just kind of moves up. And then you see a spiral form that's holding a rough diamond from the Victor Mine. So that is talking more about the natural riches of Canada, our amazing mine. And then it leads to a polished diamond that promises prosperity. So that is the kind of meaning I wanted to give to my design, because this is not now, but for hundreds of years, this is going to be there. So it's a huge part of Canadian history. And remember, I said that when I came to Canada, I went to this building called Ontario Legislature. I did not know that I will be part of that history and diamond history as well. So that was a great moment. Talking about Canadian diamonds, this is a necklace called Canoe. Canoe means a boat. So it's a Canoe Canadian diamond necklace. Again, you see my hand-drawn blueprint, you see my rendering, and you also see my inspiration. And I was inspired by beautiful Canada, the magical landscape, pristine white winters, almost the scene that you pretty much come across, like a canoe, snow-covered canoe in a frozen crystalline lake. And so that's what I wanted to depict in this design. So if you look at the necklace, there are these 2 links. They are diamond-studded links that embrace the neck like a lake. And at the center are these intersecting lines with diamonds, representing floating chunks of ice. And then it culminates into a canoe or a boat shape. And that is concave and has faceted interior. But I also want to share that canoe is a very important and a very unique symbol in Canada. It means voyage, it means discovery, it means oneness in nature. So this piece had won the Rio Tinto Diamonds Master Craftsperson Award. And then let's talk a little bit about a historic piece for India. So I'm really, really honored that I had this amazing privilege to work with first diamonds that were discovered after Golconda mine depleted. So when Rio Tinto discovered diamonds in India, that was 100 years later, when the Golconda diamond deposit is gone. So the mine was called Bunder Mine. And these are the first Indian diamonds after 100 years in that sense. So Rio Tinto entrusted me with these diamonds to make an inaugural collection to capture this important historic moment. And so the diamonds came from Madhya Pradesh. So when Rio Tinto had assigned me this amazing project, they did not know I was born in Madhya Pradesh. So it was a great full circle moment for me. As the Madhya Pradesh chief minister had said, the Beti of Madhya Pradesh. So I really felt very happy about it. So this design, again, it's a very large necklace. It was a whole suite, but I'm talking more about a necklace here. It has a disc that's studded with the first diamonds from India. And, the disc is almost like the land, the natural deposits, the mine in itself. And I was inspired by compass. So the disc moved, things move with me. And there is a pointer that points to the center. Again, that whole idea about what was central about this development. It was the people and the courageous spirit of people from this region. It's not it's a poor region where these diamonds were found, but the people were, courageous. They were brave. They pioneered this project. So I wanted to pay tribute to that, and especially women in the region. So if you look at the diamond, there is a shape of a woman. I don't know, it's abstract, but I put it out there. So here you're looking at the diamonds that were discovered 100 years after Golconda mine depleted. And also you see is the back of the piece. And what I did was I inscribed the coordinates for the mine to talk about the origin of the diamonds. All right, so that brings me to another facet of my creativity. And these are my the paintings of diamonds and gemstones that I passionately, spend my time on. So, and why do I paint diamonds? Having spent all my life and career looking at diamonds, I have a very deep relationship with diamonds. I find they're magical, they're potent, powerful symbols. But at the same time, I paint diamonds because I think we all are like diamonds. We are bright, we are brilliant, we are strong, we are resilient, we are full of potential, and we come in all colors. So my reason to paint is to celebrate our human spirit and nature through my artwork. And in this image that you're seeing, there are paintings that are 8 feet, there are 6 feet or 5 feet paintings. And so the paintings could take anywhere from 300 hours to 800 plus hours. So the center painting would be like 700 hours. So, but I love to be in that space. I love precision. I love geometry. And here, welcome to my studio where I am painting diamonds. And this is a great, it's very meditative, I would say. It needs a lot of precision. It needs a lot of concentration, deep concentration and judgment. Because when I paint diamonds, I'm not looking at a photograph and copying it. Because for that, it's paint by number, right? You look at a photograph and you paint it. So you just need skill for that, but you don't need imagination at all. So when I paint diamonds, I'm really, my whole motivation is to push myself, to be creative, to bring my imagination. So when I am starting off, I'll take a blank canvas and I'll do my underdrawing with pencil, just like a technical drawing. Well, I'm a technical drawing professor, so I'm good at that. But that helps me decide on, for example, if this is one facet and there's a facet next to it, how is the light going to interact? So I would go to my memory bank and just think about all the diamonds I see and study. Maybe I'll look at diamonds and I start painting. And you'll be surprised how amazing a human mind is. There's many things that we remember. So I like to challenge myself in that way. And I want it to be all about imagination and all about the stories I have to tell through my artwork. And if you were ever wondering how I paint I complete a painting. Let's very quickly watch a video. So I'm happy that this was under a minute because it took a couple of hundred of hours to finish. But I think this is great about technology that you can very quickly put it all together. So now, lastly, I want to talk about something I'm truly passionate about. This is my latest project. These are my diamond art NFTs, and they're called Diamond Verse, like the universe of diamonds. And I don't know how much you know about NFTs. Maybe you know a lot, or maybe you don't. But very quickly, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. And these are digital art or collectibles or music and things like that that live on the blockchain. And so these are one-of-a-kind digital assets that you can own. And with the help of blockchain, you have complete history, you have the transaction history, you have the history and provenance. So this becomes really interesting. So a lot of times people look at NFTs and say, well, I can, right click and save it, but that does not make you an owner. So when you're an owner of an NFT, you own and you have the right to sell it for profit. So for example, my NFTs are, very happy to say, they are the very first diamond art NFTs on the NFT timeline. So they're historically important. So for example, in 2030, when you look back, it's a very significant moment in the NFT timeline and in the diamond timeline. And I definitely am very bullish about it. And I know these are going to appreciate. So at the moment, I have a collection of 11 pieces. There's one piece which is just one of one, and then there are addition of 10s. So please go to OpenSea and check it out. If you want to learn more about NFTs, I'm talking about in my social media. So yeah, or do a bit of research. This is a great place to expand your creativity with another medium. And I think just like making a jewelry is a medium. Painting dance, a medium, sculpting, or singing, all of these are mediums. So NFT is a new digital medium that is, I think it's such a cultural phenomena. So here you see a virtual gallery of my diamond art NFTs. So these are my hand-painted diamonds that I later digitized. So I added sparkle, movement, motion, and this kind of amazing color that are in diamonds. So it was a very long process, not only that you have to first paint the diamonds, then you have to digitize it. And all of this is, I'm very proud that, it was a huge learning curve for me, but I'm excited that I was able to push myself to create these. And so what's interesting in NFTs is that if you're the owner of an NFT, a digital asset, you can have it on your virtual gallery like this. You can have it on your watch. You can, have it printed, or you can have a big screen, digital screen, and have a moving, living diamond in your house. So I think it's really amazing. So I do paintings which are more 2D and static, but then I have now this opportunity to create something that moves, that lives, that is another dimension altogether. So let's look at how the NFTs actually look. So there are two of these NFTs. One is called the Diamond Vision. That's one of one piece. So that's only one piece in the whole world that exists. And I mean, vision is worth living. And so, so, so yeah, that, and then there's another one, which is the pink diamond, and that's called the romance. So let's look at first the diamond vision. And now let's look at romance. So that brings an end to my presentation. So I have to, and I would love for you guys to ask me any questions.
Yeah, that was amazing, Reena. Really loved the whole journey of yours. So we have our students who have lined up with few of the questions. I'm putting forward their messages. So if you go back and tell yourself one thing before picking your career, what would it be?
It would be to be very kind to myself. I'm always very, I am a bit hard on myself. I like to do things more than 100%. So I would say, take it easy, enjoy the ride, yeah, be more present.
Yeah. This one goes from Priya Malhotra. She wants to know, how would you describe your collections?
My collections? Oh, wow. I would describe them as messengers, as almost emuletic. I think my collections are always reminding us to look at our inner, to believe and trust our inner compass, to trust our inner brilliance. They'll always have the message of positivity. And if I have to say more about my collection, I'll say they always move, and they move you when you wear.
That was nice. Madhvi wants to know, when did your career actually take off? How long it took you from designing to actually get into your real world where you got successful, and what challenges did you face?
Oh, very good question. So I'm looking back to my career, which is already now 22 years into the field of diamonds and design. But so it's been a journey. And I think for anyone, I think when you're in designing or in any arts or any profession, it is a process. And I would say that when around 2000, 2010 was very pivotal moment for me, because at that point I had won every single Diamond International award there was. So that brought a lot of attention to what I was doing. Before that, it was, oh, well, yes, you're a designer, but then I had more. I could bring so much value to not only the designs, but to people, and contribute in many other ways. I was teaching, I was judging awards, I was doing other things. So people started noticing that. And it's not that with that came opportunities for me to take up new projects. So I worked with the leading diamanteurs of India, and I always say that if you worked with me, well, you're in the right kind of business, because quality. And so in that sense, I got a lot of attention from winning competitions. So that was the early start when I started getting recognized. But when I started doing really well in my mind was when I was able to articulate exactly what I wanted to say. So without holding myself back, I was brave enough to put my to put my messages very clearly out in my collections. And that's when I felt I'm more cohesive in my collections. And so yeah, I would say that.
Okay. There's one more. If someone is not an artist or not good at drawings or lacks creativity, do you think this profession of jewelry designing is for them?
Don't lack creativity is number one. You need creativity, but you don't need to be very good at drawing. You could be okay at drawing. You could, because people express themselves in different ways. I have come across incredible architects, not art. I've seen artists and designers and the fashion designers. Then some of them are not very good in their sketching or drawing, but they have an idea, so they could scribble it down. That's good enough. But I think you need a bit of creativity. You need to be curious. So to go into a field that is a creative field, a field where storytelling is important, I think you need to have a bit of self-awareness. You need to understand what you know and what you want to say, and how do you marry your creativity, the things you have learned, and the things that you are acquiring as you go in your journey, and kind of weave it into your profession. So yes, creativity, see things, live your life, learn and apply.
Thanks on that again. One last question. What generally students ask. So we say that jewelry designing is a very rewarding career. Those who are very inclined towards fashion, creativity, inspirations, transforming them into different ideas. But how far you feel that this jewelry designing field has a scope for this upcoming generation?
Oh my God. I mean, you can be only limited by your imagination, guys. Listen, I think if you put your mind to anything, the world opens up. So I would say that if you are interested in jewelry design, if you think that is a career path for you, go all out, show up and share your work. I also think that huge scope, I mean, let's look at humanity. There was, even from the early start of humanity, humans adorned themselves. They put some, whether it was beads, so they were making holes and they were wearing that. So the connection of body with jewelry is so permanent in that sense that is not going to go away. So you can, I mean, and I always say that, we could see a world where, there could be digitized jewelry on the body. I would love to see it. So we can go in many different layers of expression, but wearing jewelry and expressing your identity through jewelry is always going to stay. So your scope, humongous, big. It's only up to you what you do with it.
Yeah. So we have basically two industries, fashion and your time, and fashion and jewelry in today's time. So what difference you find in your time and today's scenario? The taste has changed.
So I think I feel that like I'm always present in all time. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
feel there, and why I say that is that if you understand culture, if you're excited about what's happening around you, you learn. I think you're always on top of it. You never dated in that sense. So how tastes always change, and there are many reasons that things move and shift in the world. So as a designer, it's not that you're not a drafts person, because a lot of times, I mean, I speak to so many students and understand that sometimes when you talk about jewelry design, they think of a drawing. Drawing is a skill. It is a must. You need to have that. You need to know how to make jewelry. You need to understand gemstone. That's a given. But what makes you a good jewelry designer is your imagination and how you apply yourself. That is what will take you places, and that's your trajectory, that's your contribution. So taste, coming back to taste, so culture changes, it moves and it shifts. And if you are interested in people, if you're interested in politics, you're interested in social issues, all the things that are happening around us, that is what influences taste, or design or art or anything. I think expression and is pretty much tied to that.
Yeah, thanks note on that. So there, what I would like to add is technical part is also very much important in designing. Apart from drawing, again, people take it when we started our journey and all. There was no CAD and something like that. So today, to understand technically, drawing and your technical part goes together. That's a big change that has come in this period. So I would like to ask my other students, if you have any question, you can drop in the chat box. Anybody?
Meanwhile, thank you, Reena. I just want to spell out what is my takeaway for this today's lovely life journey from your side. So life is more about moving. That I like the phrase very much, and the change is constant. We always say that. So I also go with that flow always. And what goes around comes around. That is also nicely you have spell out with your designs and coronet and other floating diamonds and other your designs. So I just want to ask you casually, like one simple question, like now the diamond art NFTs, like what you think this industry, the digitalization is going in this world. First thing is that, and second thing, how always you land up into making something very innovative things for jewelry industry.
Well, thank you, Raj. I love to live. I have a lust for life. I like to learn new things, and uh, I think all of those creations is my way of pushing myself, and just trying to learn new things, and also kind of really see what's in my mind, because I mean, it is said that the human mind is so incredible. There are so many things, and we have so much potential, and we've barely been able to kind of go inside and see it. So my intention is to really see what all I'm capable of, and experiment with that. And coming to the question, a brilliant question about digitization. A lot of times, you remember when people are talking about, well, digitization, people are talking, oh, we are on Zoom calls, or that's okay, that's not digitization, folks. I think what we are moving towards is a increasingly digitized experience and world. So, just take, for example, how, we are on Web3 now. Web 1 was when, the web started, and Web 2 is when social media came in and all of that. But Web 3 is now, and Web 2, I go back. Web 2 was where Facebook and all of these, different social media was saying, hey, listen, this is my platform. Now you can come in and you can post, and, but I am there and you're playing my game. But in Web3, the transition is that it's very community powered. It's empowered by the community. So there is these checks and balances that's happening in the world, and culturally as well. So when you look at digitization, I feel in the diamond jewelry industry, we've always talked about, well, there is, transparency. Where do our diamonds come from? How do we know, what happened between when the diamond was mined and it was studied in a piece of jewelry, all the characteristics of diamond and all of that. So now with NFTs, you have this amazing solution. So you can pretty much have an NFT of a diamond that records all of these in the metadata in the blockchain. So you have an indisputable proof, and this cannot be altered. This cannot be changed. And there definitely you have to be very conscious about the legality of all of this, but there is a great solution that you talked about all of that, and now you can embed it in your with a piece of jewelry. So for example, you can have an NFT. If you have made one of one, an amazing, incredible jewelry piece, it can accompany, it can be accompanied by an NFT that has all these things that, or even the story and the message and inspiration, you can embed that in metadata that goes into the blockchain. And every time it's transacted, it cannot be altered, but it keeps adding, and the history of transactions and authenticity and provenance. So I think it's pretty good. I would say that I would urge the diamond and jewelry industry to take a look at NFTs. We are in this new world. It may be for you, it may not be for you, but at least learn about it. First, get a crypto wallet. NFTs are traded by cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. And I think that cryptocurrencies will be very important in the future if you want to buy into different experiences, fundraisers, jewelry, diamonds. For example, the Enigma diamond that has just come into the market. So we're talking in 2022. And Sotheby's has this amazing black diamond, which is a celestial diamond in a way, 555 carats. And Sotheby's says that they're accepting cryptocurrency. So there's a huge shift. And why they're doing that is because 1 year back, they had a success. They sold the key diamond for, I think, $12.3 million. So if you see, that shift has already taken place. So if you're new to this space, learn about it. You could be a collector, you could be an investor, or you could be a creator. Enjoy the ride, see how it works for you, but definitely see it also for the reason that this is a new kind of ownership. A lot of people say, well, I have physical jewelry, I love physical jewelry, why do I need a digital version? But you can have a physical jewelry, you can have a digital version, or you can have both. And I always say that to the industry, this is not a physical or digital kind of, there's no divide. This is not the zero-sum game that you can just have one and not other. You can have both or just one, but at least understand that today people are increasingly acquiring things digitally. Look at Netflix and all the things we do. We are owners in some part of the digital realm. So whether it's fashion, whether it's jewelry, whether it's diamonds, all of this will be touched by NFTs, and NFTs will morph and shape into different things too. But come on board and see. And my best advice I can give to the industry is, first, be a collector. Go and collect an NFT. Make a crypto wallet, buy an NFT, understand how an end-to-end transaction works. And that could be really helpful in understanding it for yourself. Do I want to be in this field or not? That helps you decide.
Thank you.
Thank you, Reena ma'am. Thank you immensely for this valuable time of yours, for giving a drive to our students, inspiration and all. We really like this session and look for more like these in future with you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Rahul sir. Thank you, students, for being part of this webinar. It was really a privilege having all of you on one platform. And thank you from IIG.
Well, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure meeting you, ma'am.
Likewise, and thank you to all the students for staying back and for all your time. And if there's anything, reach out to me.